Okay, hi guys. This is Elina, my friend. She's in Soma Art. We represent my work right now. Of course, she's a famous editor, and she would like to send a message of love to you in Egypt, in Alexandria. And we'll talk for briefly about the magazine she's editing and her husband, of course, Mishmish, ex-professor in City College of San Francisco, and he's a great sculptor and also a master photographer. And he loves Egypt. Even he called himself Mishmish. So let's start about Elena. Elena, what do you think about the whole thing and in the revolution thing in Egypt?
Well, the revolution, we're excited about the revolution, having traveled to Egypt since 1980 and meeting all the people, just wonderful people. And
No, no, it's me. I'm forcing.
oh, and we're just happy that the revolution happened and that younger people can take over, hopefully, and just have a wonderful life. There's so many talented Egyptians that should be running the country, making progress, doing things, I mean, like we have here in America, which there's so many Americans and Egyptians that travel back and forth. And we just hope that it happens soon, and we're happy.
We like actually, guys, you to visit before I start asking you, Mishmish. We really, because what we have lack right now in Egypt, expertise in moving forward. Like we don't really have a practice demonstration for a long time. So we need some sort of training, some sort of people like you guys come and lecture. We need to really get more engaged about freedom rights, communities worldwide. What do you feel about that?
Well, they say freedom is not free. It's costly. And a revolution means there's a new beginning, but it must be, if it's to be democratic, people have to participate continuously to make sure that the revolution and the new democracy progresses forward and not taking steps backward. It's too easy to go back to where you've been because it's very comfortable. It's very difficult to move forward sometimes because it's territory you've never been to before. But remember, at one time Egypt conquered most of the known world. It ruled all the people, and for a very long time. So it has a great history, but it needs to develop now a history of democracy and institutions that are democratic, and the understanding of people that in order to make progress, you have to demonstrate what your concerns are. You have to be engaged in a democracy to be a democracy. You can't sit back and let other people run a democracy for you. And that's what happened for 30 years now.
But I don't think that's going to happen in Egypt because I think people are they've sacrificed too much at this point that I think they will want to go forward and do the democratic thing.
Well, we have
and not
great
go
hope
backwards.
that people will do that, but it's a learning thing you have to become accustomed to. You have to work hard, you have to be directed, you have to know what your goal is, and then spend your time achieving what it is that you're after. So that's my 2 cents of how you have to move forward.
Actually, you mentioned something I really, really appreciate. You are the first interviewer. I first interview somebody with this such progressive talks. Why? Because everybody talk to him, he liked to talk about the past. But you are the first guy I talked to him, he's talking about the future. And that was actually my next question. You know what I mean? What do you think the next step should be in Egypt, the next step, like the big step, next big step, because the revolution is huge, but
Right.
definitely we need another big step.
You know,
We need elections.
Elections.
But you have to prepare for elections, getting people registered, and people need to know what to do, like fill out a ballot and do what they have to do. But I think that some people want to wait for that, but I think it needs to move forward fast.
well, the problem is Egypt has a long history of being occupied by the West,
Yeah.
being guided by the West, and being told what to do by the West. Egypt has to decide for itself how it wants to open the future. And there's a lot of young people that you saw in Tahrir Square
Yeah.
that are interested in being participants in the development of a new Egypt. And that's what's really most important. What do the Egyptian people want? If you don't have a vision and you don't strive to achieve that, then you fall back on what's most comfortable. Many people have said they liked Mubarak even now because they had a certain level of comfort
Stability.
and stability. And the problem was that only some people did, not everybody did. And you need a
A
democracy.
margin there.
right.
right.
That's only a certain.
You have to have a
number of
democracy
people.
that serves all of the people, not just some of the people.
So that's what democracy about. It's about the people.
Right. I
Exactly.
can only tell you my feelings, from what I know of democracy in the United States and in Europe. But I wouldn't be so bold as to suggest how Egypt should achieve a democracy. It It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take personal sacrifice. But I think in the end, it will be better off.
So French Revolution, 7 years. American Revolution, how many
About
victims?
7 years before it was resolved. Then we had a civil war because of
Yeah.
disagreements on things. But what came out of all of that was a greater strength because of the diversity and the adversity that people had respective to overcoming all of the issues that were differences. So differences are not necessarily things which will divide. They can be strengths which can combine. But it needs to be handled delicately, sensitively, and with great thought.
Okay.
Somebody said freedom is not free, and that's very true.
I like
It's
the word.
costly.
Yeah, I think this is a wonderful word to mention. Like tomorrow is a mystery. Today is.
Right now it's over, and yesterday never happened.
Okay.
You live in the moment.
Okay, talk to me about your magazine now, like
The
briefly.
Washington Report I write for the Washington Report on Middle East Affairs, which is a magazine published in Washington, D.C. by two former Foreign Service officers. And the magazine's been going for 28 years, and we tell the truth, specifically regarding the Israeli-Palestinian issue, which some people will pick up the magazine and say, oh, it's pro-Palestinian. Well, actually, it's just telling the news honestly with what happens, which regarding the whole Middle East and the Islamic world, actually. So it's a great resource. It's sold in bookstores, newsstands. We also have a website. People can subscribe to the magazine or to the online edition.
And it's distributed internationally as well. So
Okay, www. Oh,
W-
the address.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's
WRMEA.com.
WRMEA.com, Washington Report on Middle East Affairs.
Okay, I really like to have them here with us actually for a whole day because you don't know really those guys. Maybe I just brief about them, but actually when you meet them and you know how much they are in love with Egypt and they can see the prosperity of Egyptian people and they're dreaming like you guys and they visited Egypt. How many times, by the way, you visited Egypt?
15 times.
15. So
And
Lots of
unless
time to
Huh?
lots of time in Sinai,
Lots of-
Cairo, Alexandria, Armenia, Luxor, Abu Simbel,
all
Aswan.
over. Aina Masri.
and so let's give the guys, let's give them an honorary Egyptian citizenship.
Yeah.
And
Good.
if you love Egypt, we really loves you. And I will tell you something before I ended this wonderful interview with such an enlightened person as Egypt, Tunisia. A friend of mine actually wrote it to me in email. Tell me, Tunisia revolution inspired Egypt, but Egypt inspired the entire world.
It's
Right.
true.
That's true.
Egypt is leading the entire world with its movement towards democracy and the removal of oppressive leaders.
So we can call it not a revolution, we call it evolution.
Evolution.
Does it work?
Yeah. Drop the R.
Okay, so let's put the three hands in the front here. Come on, Elina. Actually, they are married, okay, guys? So his hand
We can
with their
touch.
hand, okay? Because I don't want to piss off my Islamist friend. I love you, Islamist. I love you, Christianist.
Hey, our
I love
best
you,
friends are-
Judaist. Love you. Thank you very much. And have wonderful, whatever. Poop.